What could possibly be lucky about addiction or being an addict? Well, my next guest wanted to remove the stigma, shame, and secrecy of recovery, and now she's sharing her message in her new book, We Are the Luckiest, The Surprising Magic of a Sober Life. Laura McKowen is joining us via Zoom to talk about all this trouble you've had, the difficulties and challenges, and you come up with this title, We Are the Luckiest. Why?
I definitely thought, like most people do, that having to give up drinking was the worst thing. You know, being called an addict and being sort of cast aside as someone who has a problem would be the worst thing that could ever happen to me. But I realized pretty early on, it was like maybe 30 days into sobriety, and I was safe at home with my daughter and just having a quiet moment. She was asleep, and I realized this is what I have been wanting all along. I realized that I was really lucky at that point. And so I started saying it on Instagram, and it caught on. And then it was just, it was the obvious name of, you know, when the book came to be 4 years later.
And so the question is, you decide, okay, I'm going to get sober. But when you first started, what did that look like for you?
I really tried to kind of get sober in the background of my life without changing anything. So what happened was I went to 12-step meetings, and they were extraordinarily helpful, and I love them still. But I kind of thought, this is really messed up, that the only place I can go to talk about this is either in a dark, room or to read about it in a book. And that was really upsetting to me, which is how I got to be, doing what I'm doing today, 6 years later. Today is my 6-year anniversary, so it's kind of
Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary. That's awesome. You know, people who have these types of addictions often talk about the slippery slope. And did you realize when you were sliding down that slope, or were you just oblivious to it?
I wasn't oblivious, but I knew, but I really couldn't let myself know. And I still had some illusion of control, because it wasn't like every time I drank, something bad happened. That's not how it was. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, so and that presents, a dilemma, because sometimes you drink, you can stop, everything is fine. Another time you drink and it's not fine, and you don't know when that not fine situation is going to occur.
That's right. There was a slippery slope, and it was a slippery slope for a lot longer than I realized. Nobody really knew the truth of what was going on with me, and they definitely didn't know the truth about what was going on with my drinking. Nobody knew, even the people closest to me. And that creates a lot of internal friction. There's this saying, if I lie to keep the peace, I start a war within myself.
Wow. And
I had to learn how to tell the truth. It was one of the most humbling and still it's a process, How often do we say the thing that we think people want to hear versus the thing that's true and will keep us in integrity?
You say that there are 9 principles to say to someone who's trying to start their sobriety journey. Can you take us through some of those principles?
Yeah. So the first is 1, it is not your fault. 2, it is your responsibility. 3, it is unfair that this is your thing. 4, this is your thing. 5, this will never stop being your thing until you face it. 6, you cannot do it alone. 7, only you can do it. 8, you are loved. And 9, I will never stop reminding you of these things.
Wow. Laura McKowen, I'm going to leave it right there. Thank you so much. Happy anniversary once again for 6 years of sobriety. And I wish you many, many more. And it's a great book. So thanks for being so raw and honest. You're going to help a lot of people.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
All right.